Year-end lists. They seem to be a standard of YouTube and blogs. Everybody's got to jump in on what they thought were the biggest releases and the worst disappointments of insert year here. Well, I might be no different on the surface, but everything I do has to be that just a little bit different. So here we go with the best games I had the pleasure of playing for the first time this year. Keep in mind, this does not mean the game itself was released in 2018, just that I first played it then. They won't be ranked either, so no game on this list is better than the others. We'll start with Letter Quest Remastered, a game my wife picked up shortly before Spyro Reignited Trilogy launched and pretty much took over her life. You play as a Grim Reaper, and you form words to attack your enemies. It's unique, helps with your vocabulary, and it's a good boot up. Next up is Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams. What began life way back in the 80s as an attempt to copy Super Mario has, with this entry, turned itself into something more original. Switching sisters on the fly opens up so many possibilities, and the design of the stages is incredible. I hope the gaming allegory for cancer takes the next spot, and it's worth the energy you put into it. It's a short and simple game, but one that's worth its purchase price, just for the message it delivers alone. This, and the next 3 titles, were revealed to me via Kathy Weiss, aka Indie Gamer Chick, on Twitter, and I thank her so much for all the games I could have very well missed this year, but turned out enjoying immensely. Midnight Deluxe, a unique take on the slingshot style game, was one of the games my wife picked up when we found it on the store, and because of hashtag IndieXmas 2018, we managed to get to try it out. The first of 3 games from Radaleka Games that appears on my list this year sparked my interest. This simple mechanics makes it easier than it actually plays. For Xbox controllers, you're going to have a little bit of difficulty, but those with touchscreen options, you shouldn't have any problem with this one. Shadow of Lootbox, another Radaleka Games hit, on the other hand, takes a rather stale genre and turns it on its satirical head. Another voxel-based game, this time you're shooting at the very loot boxes that have defined games for the last few years. Each level has a specific theme to it, and, well, to say any more would ruin the fun. For $8, you can't go wrong with this. Devious Dungeon, our final entry from Radaleka Games, is a roguelite ready to show other games how to do the genre right. Again, not exactly a long game if you know how to play, but with a meaningful upgrade system and the option to resume where you left off to go backwards. It's your choice how to handle it. Secrets, randomality, and the old school one more time gameplay makes this an essential pickup, at least on the Xbox One. Shantae, Half-Genie Hero, is the game I should have played a year ago when it was originally released. WayForward has done it again with a retro platformer that has a crisp animation art style, gameplay mechanics that require revisiting of game worlds for side challenges, and Christina V? I'm just saying it now. The last few years have been great for V's career. Between Miraculous, Power Rangers Hyperforce, and Octopath Traveler, yep, she was in that one too, V's turning into one of those talents I'm zeroing in on long term. Like, I'm now going to have to pick up a PS4 and Tales of Berseria just for her performance as Velvet. The next game is the 80s synth overloaded Stereo Aereo, which is still $1.19 plus tax as of the posting of this video. But even at its full price, this Guitar Hero meets Defender Crossbreed is an interesting mix of concepts that just works. The fast-paced, rhythm-tricked-out gameplay is definitely a trip that you're not going to want to slow down for anytime soon. My only complaint is this forced difficulty spike, but other than that, it's definitely a solid pickup. Ukulele comes next, and this is one of those games that has a hit or miss reputation. If you were expecting a modern take on the 90s 3D platform genre, I don't know what to tell you. But if you're looking for that flashback to when games didn't have to innovate all the time, Ukulele is right up your alley. Collectibles, an expandable moveset, and pop quizzes? This can only be done by the team responsible for your 90s N64 nostalgia, and it shows. We're only going to briefly touch on Trove, as I've kind of scaled back on that game. But for a free MMORPG set in a family-friendly world, you can't get any better than this. With a voxel-style art that resembles 8-bit video games, it's great for that entry level into the genre. And the experience grind is just at that peak. You don't have to spend any money, but the little bit you do makes it even better. Instead, let's focus on the remaining game that I discovered from Indie Xmas 2018, Shalnor Legends Sacred Lands, a top-down Zelda tribute that, while graphically not quite at the top of where it should be, its gameplay and themes still make it worth picking up. While fairly linear in the playthroughs I've done up to this point, Shalnor Legends gets what makes Zelda work and runs with it. If the 3D iterations of Nintendo's action-adventure hero haven't been whetting your appetite, pick this title up at $10 on the Xbox Store. We finally finish up with the Elder Scrolls Online Somerset. While the base game has been out for a while, and I have dabbed in the game before, yes, I said dabbed, that wasn't a typo, Somerset's launch was when I really dove headfirst into the game in a serious attempt to play, and I'm glad that I did. While I'm not exactly a social guy on these kinds of games, I can't help but keep going back into it on a regular basis to explore more of Tamriel. Somerset alone took up a good 2/3 of my game time. The only reason I even left the island was because of in-game events. If you're wanting to pick this up, this is the perfect time to do it. It's the top recommendation I have from 2018. Or at least it would have been had I not been reminded of a game I tried earlier this year that merely made me break into hysteria every time I played it. Death Road to Canada is easily the roguelike game I can't help but remember the most. Whereas ESO was the game I kept coming back to even when I put everything else down, Death Road was the game that kept coming up in my head. What makes this even better is that you can create your own characters and put them into the game. And since no playthrough is the same thing twice or even 5 times in a row, you won't be disappointed. Those are my picks anyway. I'd love to know what games you were introduced to in 2018, even if they didn't come out this year, that made you a happy gamer. Please like this video and share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel for more streaming VODs and other content from myself and my family. I'm JMC, this has been the Cornett Codex, and thank you for watching.